Hi guys, on this episode of BLT's Projects, we are working on a Honda Fourtrax and we are going to show you how to replace your front brake pads. Alright guys, to do this brake job, the tools you're going to need are gloves, various pliers, a hammer if needed, brake cleaner for sure, an impact wrench, a 22mm socket that will take off our castle nut in the middle, 18 millimeter socket to get the lugs off, and a couple different wrenches depending on how bad your lugs are on there. That's all. And you'll also need brake grease and obviously your brake parts, okay, and brake fluid. You can use on this Honda, which is a 95 Fourtrax, you can use a .3 or .4 fluid, and we'll also go through the bleeding process as well as we do this project. So, but as far as parts outside brakes itself, you're going to need a good brake grease and brake fluid. Okay, so let's get to it. Alright guys, so a couple other things you'll need are jack stands and a jack. Please make sure your bike is secured in the air. And the other thing is these are 18mm lugs that are going to come off. But what you want to do with the breaker bar is before you put this in the air, break these lugs loose. Otherwise, you're going to be turning the wheel and turning the lugs, and that's just not going to work. You may also want some WD-40 to help you out as well. So let's go ahead and get these lugs off. Now, as an additional safety measure, I put the tires and stuff underneath the bike. So in the weird, odd case that it would come off the lift or come off the jack stands or something, it would at least come off and hit this tire before it hit me. So anyway, the next thing we're going to do is there's a cotter pin right here that you got to pull out. You just got to bend the tab back. So get your pliers. And you're just going to bend this tab out just like that. And then there's another one over here. So I'll get that out and we'll be right back. All right. So once you got your cotter pin out, just like this, I went ahead and sprayed some WD-40 in there to help all that out. You may decide to do that, you may not. So once you get that out, you just take your impact and get that castle nut off. All right, once that castle nut is off, take your hammer and just kind of tap if you need to on all four corners, just like that. And by doing that, it should free this drum up to come off. All right, a good couple taps with the hammer, and it should come off just like that. And you have your brakes all right here with your axle and all this stuff. These are your actual brake shoes here, right here and here. Now, a note to make sure is to know how these came off, because they need to go on. The new ones will go on the same way. So like the spring over here is behind the shoe, and the spring is behind the shoe over here, and needs to go down this way and up this way. It's got to be the same. And you'll coat this axle and everything in grease and all sorts of stuff when we put that back on, and we'll also clean the inside of this brake drum. Okay, so to get these shoes off, there's these little tabs right here, and you just turn these tabs and those little these little clips just come off just like that. Okay, once you got those tabs off, then all you got to do is pull up on the brake pad. You pull up on the spring with your hand like this, and it'll come right off. Again, you may want to put some WD-40 on here. Depending on how old these brakes are, they may not be super willing to come off. So and there you go. Again, with this tire, I'll set these brakes just as they came off, just like this. So when I put the new ones on, they're going to go on just like that. Now, you can see all this right here. All this should be cleaned up and shiny before we put on our new brakes, and we're going to put grease on this axle right here, and I'll clean up all this stuff soon. Spray all this down with brake cleaner. Get it real good, dry, and clean for the new brakes. But that is how you remove them. Installation is basically the same as the reverse. You're just going to put your brake pads in these little calipers right here, okay? And then put everything back together, grease it all, and you'll be ready to go. We will also go over how to bleed your brakes as well here in a little bit. See you guys in a minute. Okay, now we're ready to pretty much reinstall these drums. I went ahead and took a brush and went all around the edges and the lip of this, because I'm going to take brake grease and I'm going to put it between these rubber layers here, all around here to help seal this when we put it back on the hub. And then of course I put brake cleaner all in here and cleaned all that out as well. And our brakes are pretty much ready to go. I already installed the pins back on. Okay, a couple side notes on that. This rounded edge should point away from the spring. Okay, so those look like those are pretty much ready to go. So we'll get this. You want to put brake grease on this hub and everything. Try to keep this as clean as possible. Okay, right here you put brake grease on that hub and everything to lubricate all that. So we'll get the grease on this hub and we'll put it back on and we'll be done. Alright, so once you get your pads on here, your pins here, got your hub greased, now you're ready to put on the brake drum. All greased and everything on the inside, clean, ready to go. Just gonna put it on there. Just like that. Put your bolts on there and you'll be ready to go. Also, in the comments below, I'll put the torque specs for the wheels and these nuts for the brake drum. Once you're done, once you put all this on, you put your castle nut on, put your wrist pin through there, and put your lugs on, and you're done. That's it. That's how easy it is to do a brake job on a Honda ATV. And thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, guys, I've learned how to do this stuff through YouTube. I'm not an expert, so I thought I'd put these videos out to help. But if I can do it, you can try to do it. Thanks for watching again. Have a good one.